We interrupt this program to remind you to file save. File save. This is a way for you to keep your projects without having to start over. Ever had a situation where your computer just crashed on you? Ever got to that point where you was just like, I would hate to have to start over? File save. No more stressful situations, just go ahead and file save. Remember, only you can prevent lost save data. Okay, so it's something that has to be said, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know. You're not Robert, and you know, I'm not you guys. I sometimes have to tell myself that because, you know, I'm giving you guys tutorials on how to draw something or, you know, put something together in your own light and stuff, but really I'm only showing you guys my style, and that's kind of not really realistic and relatable because you guys aren't me and you guys don't have those abilities that I do sometimes. I mean, maybe you guys do, you know, maybe you guys do, but normally when people emulate what I got going on, they usually come to me and say, hey, I made this, but it's not exactly what I want. Can you kind of like tell me how to fix it so I can get it to look a little bit more like what you made on like this video? Which is cool because, you know, I don't mind. Sometimes people mess up. Sometimes I don't explain something fully and all that. And, you know, majority of the times I usually tell people one thing, which is to go back to your pen and paper and just draw it. You know, draw it out. But, you know, a lot of people aren't illustrators. And you guys come to me about that almost all the time. Like, you'll leave in the comment section, like, I really love this, but I'm not an illustrator. I'm not a drawer. So can I come to you and you draw me something? And yeah, you can. But then there's like 14,000 of you guys asking me to draw something for you. And that's so time consuming. And as you've seen last week and the 2 weeks beforehand, like, I have to fix my website. I have to do a bunch of stuff. It's a whole lot of time being ran and then doing projects on the side as well for other people. I barely even get the chance to like sit back and make YouTube videos. It's the reason why I'm going back to 3 days a week, which is because I want to knock out projects for everybody else and then do things for myself as well. But I then since was like, well, let me introduce vector graphic packs, which is just pretty much what I draw out and I give to you guys. Like, I distribute that stuff out on my website, which is the reason why I spent so much time putting my website together, because I want you guys to be able to go into that, download those, and use that for your own projects. Because, I mean, let's just keep it real. If you don't know how to use Illustrator, you're not a freehand drawer or anything like that, then vector graphic packs is everything that you need, because you can just load those up into Illustrator and Photoshop and then manipulate those into the way that you want them to be, what you want it to look like, and it can still look like my work, and you can feel good about that. You can make your own designs with my illustrative work. And the one that I'm coming up with now is my Christian vector pack, because, you know, a whole bunch of you guys have said to me, I'm starting a Christian line, I'm starting a line based off the Bible or something like that, and I want you to make this design for me. And there's a bunch of you guys asking me about it, so I made a Christian vector pack, which you guys can pick up off my website. But this leads into another idea that I want to talk to you guys about, which is narrative design. Now, what is narrative design? Go ahead, take a few seconds to think about it. And you know what, I think I talked about this before on my channel. Narrative design is a design based off a story. Okay, so you made a story that was relatable, and you're gonna take that story and design something around it, right? So let's just say in my Christian vector pack, I'm creating the story of Adam and Eve. All right, so I'm gonna take some of these vectors or whatnot and create a design for my t-shirt line based off the Adam and Eve story. Working faster instead of working harder, okay? And that's what we're gonna do today. So I wanna show you guys how I'm gonna do this. I'm taking just a small part of the Adam and Eve story and I'm putting that on a t-shirt. So we're gonna get into Photoshop and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what to do. Okay, so for my vector pack, I want to take this snake design, these two hand designs right here, this apple and this sun ray, and create a nice design, a nice narrative design from the Adam and Eve story. Alright, so I'm going to take the snake design, the hand design, these sun rays, and that apple, and paste all of that into Photoshop. One thing to note, that when you guys are pasting things from Illustrator into Photoshop, once you paste it, it's going to ask you, do you want to paint this as a smart object, a pixel, a path, or a shape layer? Just paste it as a smart object and hit OK. The smart object is going to allow you to scale it up and down without losing pixelation. Okay, so now that I got everything pasted in here, I want to just go ahead and make sure I bring in like a ruler just to make sure I can get this all in the center of the design. So when I design this stuff out, everything is centered, right? I know I want this sun ray to be above this snake layer, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that there now. And I want this apple to be inside of the snake layer, so I'm gonna put that there. I want to arrange this hand to be on this side like this, and this hand to be in the center like this. So with the snake layer, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of expand this out some so that apple layer can sit inside of that. And I want to take the sun rays and just kind of bring that up some like that. As a matter of fact, that apple is a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna go ahead and scale that back. So that story goes, Adam and Eve ate some fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Alright, so I'm just gonna put that fruit as an apple, make sure that that's inside of the circle, because, you know, that serpent pretty much told them to do it. So I think that's good right there. Mind you that the stroke width on this is kind of like narrow, so I'm gonna go ahead and add an extra stroke to it. Not too much of it, but, you know, just a little bit, about a 4. That should be okay. Now I want to tilt this girl's hand off to the side a little bit like this, and I want to tilt the guy hand off just a little bit like that. Now this looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and put all of this into one layer, and I'm gonna turn this white. And then up under it, I want to add a new solid color. Just make it like, you know, my shirt color, which is gonna be black, and hit okay. Now that's pretty solid to me. I like the way this is looking. And okay, this looks cool. So I just want to add some text to it, so I'm gonna make an oval, something a little bit like this. And then with the type tool, I could just go ahead and add some text to it. So, and because the narrative is biblical, I just want to go ahead and add some text from the Bible to it. So it's going to be, cursed are you above all livestock. And then up under all of this, I'm just going to type out the text reference, which is Genesis 3:14. And just for some style points, I just want to make sure that the stroke width on the original design here, the design that I actually used from my vector pack, is a little bit more bolder. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a white stroke to it, maybe a stroke of like 12. And with that final tweak, that's pretty much it. So you guys see how simple that was? Like, I created a very simple design based off a narrative which was in my Christian vector pack, and I made sure I told the story of Adam and Eve in it, and I included just some text. Now, the text wasn't drawn in the vector pack or anything like that, but I do have text in there. But I included some text to arc over it that supports the design so people can understand. But even without the text, you guys know what it is. We know what that's about. That's just what I have to offer to you guys, because I know you guys can't draw like me. I know you guys can't come up with creative things like that. But when you see things, you get inspired to do different things. And basically, graphic design is a culture of arranging elements in a way that's going to be supporting. So when you guys look at these graphics that I create, it's like, okay, I get it now. I can do something with this, you know, and you're a little bit more like a graphic designer each and every time you see that type of stuff. But that's pretty much it, you guys. So if you like to, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. But with that being said, you guys, I have to get up out of here. So stay amazing, stay creative above all else, and stay awesome.